Hey, welcome to the Authorpreneurial Conference, and I am excited to bring with you today one of my team members. This is part of White Glove Broadcasting. This is Shawn Denevan. He actually does quite a bit of the audio work for us. If you've ever wondered how we were able to get onto so many platforms, so many stations, it's because Shawn is the one that worked it out for us. And one of the jokes we like to have in our little team is that he's the young kid of the block because he didn't get into the audio field and radio until the 1990s, whereas one of my other team members and myself were in there in 1982. And so that's the joke. So he's one of the young kids that we'd love to have with us. He also happens to be a college professor, and he has a lot of things that he does. And so, Shawn, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And so the fun thing that we're going to do is explain to you why it might be not necessarily valuable to you to run a podcast, but if you have any interest in getting into podcasting, we really want you to focus on potentially hiring Shawn. And this is why Shawn has spent probably the last 4 or 5 years of his life building out a podcast platform where you will be broadcasting onto 112 different platforms. So if you don't mind, Shawn, talk to us a little bit about why did you even get into audio, and then what drew you into podcasting?
I've always had an affinity for audio and radio growing up as a kid, and that turned into college radio, then professional radio. And then I ended up here teaching radio in a college environment. I've had some side businesses in the past where I've created radio commercials for people. And with podcasting exploding, it just happened to be the next big step. People want to record audio. I'm like, I can do that. And they want to put audio on the internet. I got to figure that one out. So once I figured out how to get a podcast on Apple and then on Spotify, and then I found out that there's hundreds of places you can put your audio podcast. So it was just a matter of linking all the dots together so that I can record my audio and then put it out for the entire world to have availability to. One
of the things I absolutely enjoy about Shawn is the fact that he does it all for you. He has a package. We'll have links below on where you can go to find that information. But the biggest thing is we don't want you to just decide, okay, I'm going to do a podcast and think that if you're on one channel or one platform, that's all you need to do. So talk to us about how long it took you to learn all those platforms so that you could get us broadcast out on all of that media.
It's actually an evolving thing. So it started off with, how do I get on Apple? Apple seems to be one of the big boys. And then how do I get on Spotify? And then and then it was just a matter of, what are the platforms where people listen to podcasts, and can I get my podcast on there? So I notice every few months I'll go through my list, and some companies are out of business. There's new companies, and then I just have to figure out how to get the new ones on the new places, and we're good to go. So it's just a whole lot of just scouring. What are people using to download podcasts, and then use that.
And so he's somebody that you definitely, if you are interested in doing a podcast, you definitely want to be a part of his world. I highly refer Shawn all the time to our people. If you're an author and you want to read your audio book, if you want to create your own audiobook, I encourage you to do that either on YouTube, or if you're terrified of even touching YouTube because it is a situation all in itself, you can talk to Shawn about how you can put your audiobook up yourself, and he can walk you through some of the audio without it being quite so terrifying that you're reading your own book. So, Shawn, if you don't mind telling us, where are you teaching? And you have your own radio station.
I teach at Utah Tech University in St. George, Utah. I oversee the radio department. We have 3 radio stations here: voiceover booth, a podcast room, and a music recording room, among other things. And so that's where I'm at, and been here for about 12 years.
That's what, I was about to say. And you've been there for many years. And so he's somebody who's very qualified to help you with that. And also, if necessary, if you need to be talked out of doing a podcast, maybe you just don't have time, or he can talk to you about the time commitment. He's very clear. Because one of the things I enjoyed was you talking to me about what your students didn't realize, like the involvement of what a podcast, they're so used to hearing the podcast, but they don't realize all that goes into it. So do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm happy to discuss, not just, what I do, and also put in perspective what you need to do as a content creator to be able to get your content out there, but also manage some expectations as to, What is your message? Who are you trying to reach? Is this the best way to reach them? And also the work involved, because it's not as simple as flip on the mic, talk for 5 minutes, and I'm amazing. It's a little more work involved.
And to clean it up and make sure that your product is well done. One of the things I do enjoy is the fact that below you will see a PDF file that you can download. In that, what Shawn has done for us is he's listed out all 112 platforms as of right now that are going on. We just became aware that Stitcher is leaving, and that has been a major component in the field for a while, a platform. So we're now looking for other platforms to add to that. But the other thing is on that PDF is Shawn will talk to you about what kind of thumbnails that are going to be required so that you can hire him, so that he can get you on Podbean, so that you can start broadcasting your podcast when you are ready. So thank you for joining us today, Shawn.
Thank you very much.
And we will chat with you later. And thank you for listening to this bonus on the Authorpreneurial Conference.